Welcome to Empower Hour. Let's get growing. Good morning. It's so good to be here, you guys. I don't know if you've ever been through this, but first of all, Jen Marr, Soulful Prosperity coach. I am helping entrepreneurs and business owners grow their freedom, their joy, and their profit. And I don't know if you've ever been through something like this, but this past few weeks have been extremely challenging. And this morning I woke up and just feel like I got through the other side, right? I had this breakthrough. It's almost like I gave birth in a sense. But the last few weeks have been really a test for implementing all the tools, all the skills, all the strategies, and still to be able to be really sad, be really angry, be really hurt, be all of the things, and yet be able to show up, be present, right? Still put in maximum effort on the things, yet allowing myself the space and the gentleness and the love and compassion that I needed and deserves. And it was really, really, really awesome. And that's what Soulful Prosperity is all about. And you guys know that is my thing, right? So I'm very glad to have this guest today, because while I feel like I came through it and I feel in a really good space for the first time in a few weeks, to be honest, I definitely don't have all the energy like I normally do. And I was just saying, Friday's my play day. So it's summer, it's Friday. I've just come through it. So this guest today, she brings all the energy. She is amazing. She is somebody, again, that I've met through the Craig Siegel CLS organization. Love you, Craig, so much. He texted me yesterday that how we are deeply connected through past lives. And I love that. And I believe it, because I have built some beautiful relationships. And so while we're in the beginning of our relationship, we just instantly connect. We have so much in common. And if you think I have energy, wait until you see Jen. So Jen Gray, she runs the Be Genuine with Jen podcast. She's a podcaster, agency owner, health insurance, life, retirement, and she's by default has wound up actually even taking on some life coaching clients. So without further ado, I'm going to, how do I remove that? And then do this. Yes. Hi. All right. So, I didn't do, yeah. So let's introduce the topic. So yeah, Jen is here to talk to us today about building your brand through social media. And this is how, so even though we were in the CLS group together, I guess a friend requested you or you, whatever. And then I started watching you on social media. Well, first of all, and Craig said this once, your $1 million smile makes you want to watch whatever you're doing, right? So you have this amazing energy. But so when I asked you to be on here and you were like building your brand through social media, I probably honestly would have been like, if it was almost anybody else. But the fact that that is literally what attracted me to you, I was like, yes, right? Because we can feel like that can be an overplayed topic.
Yep.
But watching you embody that has been magical for me. And you've injected energy into me, because you can get a little like, oh, here I am again, live. I feel like I'm talking to myself and all that. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. Jen, bring it, girl. So glad to have you here.
It is so good to be here. And I love that, which is funny. It's why I like kind of tiptoed into this topic, because again, it feels like there's a million coaches telling you how to do all the things on social media. And so today I hope this just kind of feels a bit different. I want to strip away. I'm going to give you like some quick tips of, hey, here's some content, kind of ideas, but it's deeper than that. And when sometimes we can worry so much about building something on social media that we lose ourselves in it. And then we become this infomercial. And I don't know about y'all, but if I'm watching YouTube, I am skipping as soon as that little light up happens at the bottom of the screen and I'm able to skip. Like, we don't want infomercials. We don't want commercials. And so I love that we get to build on social media. I love that we have an outlet where, think about, how did we used to have to build businesses? We had to be like face to face in people's homes, in hotel lobbies, in, boardrooms. And now we have the amazing gift of creating a space where we can attract the people who we want to attract and add value in the ways that we can add value. And that's when everything changes. And so just a little bit of my background. I used to be a public speaker with like high school girls, and then actually transitioned to owning my own business in COVID. And I'm like, I've got 4 kiddos, single mom. I want to stay home if my babies are going to have to be home. So I dabbled in graphic design, then ultimately found a way to do insurance, which, y'all, that's a funny story. And so, but all of that, in the middle, I found an amazing leader who built everything through social media. And what I loved about her and why I connected with her is it was different. It wasn't like this, I don't know, when you think like successful women or you think success in anything, you have this person in your head or you have this, stereotype in your head. And she broke all of those. And so Jessie Lee Ward was my business mentor, my social media mentor. And what I loved is what I watched her do was, first, she was consistent. And second, she was authentic to the core. And I tried a lot of different things. But ultimately, what I learned is you have to decide your brand. Who are you? What persona are you playing on social media, right? And brand is not your logo. I'm not saying go get a website, go build that. I'm not talking about all of those things. It's deeper than that. And so I'm actually going to dive through 9 questions that I don't care where you are in building a business online, whether you just have this idea, this dream maybe of becoming a coach one day, maybe you would love to start an Etsy shop or a brick and mortar business, or you're an agent of some sort, whatever business you are in, whatever stage you are, these questions will literally bring so much life to you building a brand on social media. So if you have a pen, get it out. But the goal on social media is this. We want to build a brand. We want to build an opportunity for those to know, like, and trust us. Mm-hmm. And it's not to push a product or to push a course or to push something. We're trying to build connections on social media. And when you look at your social media as an opportunity to connect you with someone who needs you, everything changes. Because then it's not about, oh, I need to make a sale in this post and all that. People feel that, right? Like, nobody wants to be sold to, right? What happens when you go into a store and you see, you're like peripheral vision, you got this sales manager who's about to come say, hey, do you need any help? No, I can figure it out, right? Like, I don't need you to help me, know what to shop for, right? We shut down when we feel like we're about to be sold to. So why do we do that on social media? Like, why? I don't know. I don't know, but we do. But here's 9 questions. So the first is, I want you to list out what you have experience in. Maybe it's nothing related to your business. Maybe, like, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 4 kids. I'm a baseball mom. I love to travel on a budget. I'm into fitness and mindset. So what are you? What do you have experience in? Maybe you make a mean, I'm trying to think, steak on the grill, or maybe you can fold that fitted sheet like nobody's business. Okay, like, I don't know what you've got experience in or what skill that you have, but
I definitely don't have that experience. I can't fold a fitted sheet to save my life. Okay.
It's ridiculous. Like, you ever made that? Like, I'm like, I bet you're just laughing at everyone's, cap or whatever they call it, shelves or whatever. It's stupid. I'm like, roll it up, shove it in, whatever. Yeah. So okay. So what do you have experience in? Number 2, you're going to ask, What do you like to do? Don't overthink this. Like, what makes you feel alive? What brings you life? Like for me, I love the beach. I'm going to the beach next week and I'm like counting down the days because there's nothing to me. There's nothing like the beach. And then what are other things? Being with my kids, traveling, networking with really amazing people, inspiring other people. But like, what makes you alive? Like what excites you? What do you actually like to do? Okay. And trust me, all this is going to connect in the end. Number 3, what do you wish you could do? Maybe it's financially. What do you wish you could give to? Like if you could make a massive donation to somebody, like what would you give to? Or where would you live? What properties all over the place would you own? Or what stages would you speak on? What book would you write? What podcast would you be a guest on? Or what guests would you have on? Right? Just dream for a second and think of all of the things that you wish you could do. Number 4, who do you admire? And even deeper than that, what do you admire about them? And so I want you to think, so I could think of a bunch of people, right? A bunch of people that I admire what they're doing. And, like for me, like Jessie Lee, I've already talked to you about Jessie Lee. And what's powerful about Jessie Lee is if you don't know her story, so she was a big time leader in the network marketing space. And she taught businesses of all kinds in social media. And she actually was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer February of 2023 and passed away tragically in September of 2023. Peak of her career, 34 years old, a picture of health on a screen. And so in that, I watched her at the peak of her career and I watched her fight for her life. And so like, I don't know if I have any deeper admiration for a person who lived their life for other people to the core, to the very last breath that she took. And so that's the kind of person that I love, that she was all in. I love that she was consistent. I love that she led with empathy, like understanding that it's so important to find leaders that you connect with on a core value level, not just on a success level. You can find successful people, they are a dime a dozen, right? But there are very few people that I want to achieve their kind of success the way they achieve success. So for me, maybe for you, you're looking for the types of leaders that you want to align with and want to connect to. So think of those types of people, who you admire, and then take it deeper. What do you admire about them? Number 5, what do people come to you for help with? Okay, so think through. Like maybe it's just like your girlfriends are calling, or you've got a friend from high school 20 years ago, and like, what are people calling you for help with? Maybe it's you can clean a stove like crazy, right? Or maybe it's you have a fitness journey that again, I'm like, all the things I can't do, the sheets and all that.
I am not cleaning.
No.
I need a friend who could come fold my sheets and clean my stove, please. Please.
I feel like I'm like,
and I have 2 daughters who are exactly like me. Our linen closet literally is dangerous. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I'm like subconsciously speaking it into existence. Here's the kind of friends I need in my life: sheets and stoves. Right. Exactly. So yeah. So what do they come? Do they, if they're going to start a fitness journey, are you in a fitness journey? And so they're coming to you for advice or help, or maybe there's a nutrition, maybe you've gone vegan, or maybe you've done Whole30, or maybe you've, really just like cut out all of the processed things in your life, or you've gone gluten-free, or, whatever that journey is for you, or people coming to you for help and, and assistance and how to get started. Thinking through like, what have you done? Maybe you have a bunch of kids, and maybe you did cloth diapering, and people come to you like, how do you do cloth diapering? And I'm like, so think through, okay, this may seem silly, but yeah, people actually do come ask me these questions. Write it down. The number 6, what are some things that make you different? Not makes you like everybody else, not the certifications that you have necessarily, not the background of education that you have. Maybe that sets you apart. Maybe you have achieved a certain level in something, and that elevates you and adds tremendous value to the people around you because of the dedication that you had in an area. So it could be that, but think deeper. What part of your story has given you something different, has given you a message? Like, I'm a single mom of 4. I live in Atlanta. I reinvented my life at 40. I'm a podcast host. I completely rebuilt my life. Like just different things. Like, what is that for you? Like, what are some things that make you different? And again, if you notice, some of you may not even notice what I do for business right now. And that's the point. But I would say so far by question 6, by me giving you the examples of my life, you have a little bit of a glimpse of what's important to me and kind of who I am as a person.
Amen.
That's the point. Mm-hmm. Not talking about the business that I run, not talking about the things that I sell, but I want you to connect to me as a person, because then you know if I am your person, right? And these questions lean you towards that.
Yep.
Number 7, if you could design the perfect friend, what would they be? Who would they be? Is there an example of a perfect friend, right? Like all the characteristics that you're looking for in a friend.
I want my friend to have a Southern accent like you.
Okay, sign me up. It's so funny. I like down here in the South, I don't have a Southern accent, but because of this group, I'm connected to so many Northerners, and everybody comments on. I'm like, listen, I prided myself on not having an accent, but I guess I don't have a Northern accent at all. So,
oh my God, no, you don't have like a deep draw. What is it called? Draw. Yeah. But it's beautiful. I love it. This is why everybody tunes into your social media.
You're so funny. Okay, so find you a good Southern girl. Get you a Southern best friend. But you want a dreamer, right? You want somebody you can have conversations with, like deep conversations. I was reading, Jamie Kern-Lima posted something recently, and she talked about like joy givers and joy stealers. Like if you have something you are so pumped about, you know those people. Some people are going to add fuel to your fire, and you are going to leave that conversation amped up even more than you got in that conversation, right? And then you also know the antithesis to that statement. You go and you are so excited about this new revelation in your life, or this new dream, or this crazy idea that you have, and you've got that friend who's going to give you all the 100 reasons why it's not secure, it's not smart, it's not wise, and what do? You leave the same. Your conversation was the same, but the audience was different, and then you leave totally sucked dry. Be a joy giver, right? or find those people in your life, right? And so, like for me, that's a big deal, because I am crazy. I have all kinds of ideas, and I don't want you to tell me that they're stupid. I don't want you to tell me that they're too big. I don't want you to tell me that I can't do them. My own self-doubt will seep in there and try to stop me, but I want people in my life that are going to cheer me on and championing me and hold me accountable for those kind of things, right? So what kind of person is the ideal friend for you? And then I want you to think about your own life and how somebody would describe you as a friend, and where are the overlaps, right? Like I expect people to cheer me on because I look at myself as a champion of other people. I have zero scarcity mindset. There is abundance for every single one of us. I want to cheer you on in your dreams, even if we are in the same lane, because I believe we were all created for greatness, and therefore there is enough room for all of us to be successful. That's my own core value, which means I want to find people that are aligned like that, right? And so what are the overlaps? Like, are you really loyal? Are you a great listener? Are you looking for someone who's just fun, right? Like, just forget all like the serious stuff. You're like, I just want to have fun with you. I want to like laugh, and we like have the same humor. So think through those things, and here's where it's powerful. You can think through the type of friend that we would want to have, and think through our own life, like who we show up as. And I love that. Someone just said we need to be a best friend to ourselves, or like and absolutely 100%. There's so much power in enjoying being with you. I am an extrovert to the core, and I realized that was a cover up for me not wanting to ever be with myself because I didn't love myself. And I sure as heck didn't want to sit alone with my own thoughts, right? And part of the healing journey that I've been on is to be like, I love hanging out with people. So I don't want to say that. But I also am completely okay being by myself. And there's so much power in enjoying who you are and enjoying your own presence. And that's
I've come full circle through that, where I've spent the last 2 years so isolated, so in deep work, in creativity, that I've had to come out of it. Like I was at a networking event last night, and I'm trying to go to at least one a week because it's so powerful. You need that human connection, that human contact.
A huge.
But it's really like I too was so extroverted, even though I honestly am an introvert, but I forced this extroversion, is that a word? But it wasn't, I wasn't able to be alone. But for me, I'm an introvert. I needed to be alone. So now I've come full circle through it. Now I love it. Such good stuff.
Yes, so good. So think about it. Like, how do I know? Like for me, let's say I have a friend in mind, and I'm thinking, if I'm thinking about this friend, how do I know the value of that friend? Even through social media. Have you guys ever met somebody on social media and you're like, those are my people, right? And
You.
okay, you're super. I do. Like I'll throw it right back at you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. How did I figure that out? It didn't take hours of conversation. We've never met in person. It took seeing what you value. I love the energy. I think energy is huge. But again, if you didn't show that on social media, Jen, I would have never been connected to you.
Exactly.
If you hid behind written content and you never used your voice, you never showed your face, you never like added the value that only your voice brings a power and a connection unlike anything else. So if you hadn't have brought that to social media, people wouldn't connect with that. So think through, how do you know that you love the people that you love, even through social media? What did they do to show that part of them? And that's where you get to think through in your own life, like, okay, do I need to show up in a way where people can see that part of me? Wait, I'm a really good person of other people. Or wait, I'm a really good listener. Or I'm really passionate about mindset, and I want to see people like reframe their minds and set them free from so much craziness that we, the rewiring that we need to do with our minds, or whatever that is. You can see yourself in other people. I want you to take that to the next level. See yourself in them and give the world what we need of you that looks like that. Right? You've got to set your fears free and say, no, I'm going to show up because I want to be able to have the freedom to add value to people in ways that I'm receiving value. And then that brings
what's so powerful about that is like we see so much suffering in the world today, like a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger, a lot of fear, and a lot of all that stuff. But never before, and we've been through this as a society, as a human race. We've been through that before, but never before was there such an impact. So if you want to be, I call it a way shower, you want to help people to tap into the best version of themselves. Never before have you been able to access as many people as possible. My goal is over 1 million people by the next leap year to help them. And it's totally attainable. People are like, are you crazy? I don't know. I think I probably have already done at least 100,000. And I just came up with that mission at the beginning of the year. It's totally doable. We can impact so much. So true.
That. Yes, exactly. We just have to, and then we could go into a whole self-worth, self-confidence, conversation. But we'll say that for another convo.
Just shine your light. Whatever light, even if you have like all of this is not, you're not fully where you want to be, wherever you are, like you said earlier, I love that. Like what you had all those questions. So even if it is just right now, you feel really confident in your steak recipe, go for it. Or in your cooking skills, or this, sharing that joy, sharing that part of you that brings you freedom and joy and all of that is such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to make people want to be with you. Yep.
Exactly. And here's what's powerful. This isn't a personality conversation. So some of you may be listening and you're like, well, I don't have high energy like that. Like, okay, perfect. I am not for everybody. I am too much for a lot of people. And that's perfectly fine, right? That's why there's billions of people on the earth. So maybe you're really quiet and you're soft spoken, and that's who you are. This is not a personality thing. I'm not telling you to be someone that you're not. I'm saying to be authentically all who you are and connect deeply with your people. Who did you need 5 years ago? That's how you know who you need to show up like. Like what I needed 5 years ago was somebody that was consistent, that was doing the thing, that was high energy. Like that's what I needed to get myself out of a stuck mentality and from my laziness and my inconsistencies and all. So I show up as the person. I post every single morning that I work out. I'm not in a fitness industry. And some people are like, are you just trying to show off? No. Do you know why I do it? Because I get messages from people saying, you show up for yourself. It reminds me, I have got to start showing up for myself. That's why I do it. For those kinds of conversations. I'm not selling you anything other than belief in yourself. And
it also is, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's an amazing accountability tool, right? Because if you're showing up and you're doing that, then you know, in a week, you're gonna have people messaging you like, "Have you not been to the gym? What's going on?" None of that. Like you're now. I do that. I use that as a tool so often. So it's not only are you giving, but you receive by sharing. Of course, my landscapers just showed up. Can you hear them?
Oh, that's okay. It's not loud. That's okay.
I'm gonna shut the window. Whoa.
Gotta love it. Okay, perfect. I think it went away.
Go ahead, go.
Okay, so here's what I think is really powerful too, is when you recognize the kind of person that you want to help, right? Then you start to show up for, like, not necessarily for that person, but also I want you to think of it deeper. I want you to think of every single time. We're going to segue into this into live content. So we've been talking a lot about going live. I do not believe you can build a social media brand without people seeing your voice or hearing your voice on your social media. And I say that with like a harshness because I know how strong it is and I know what it can do for you. And here, one last thing I was going to say about the working out, that subconsciously you're showing people what kind of person you are by the way that you utilize social media. If you're building a coaching business and you're trying to tell people how to set goals, movement and momentum in their life, and they go and see you haven't posted anything in 3 or 4 weeks, but you're building a brand through social media, what type of business owner does that make you look like? Inconsistent. It doesn't make you look like it. It proves that you are, right? And so what we want to do subconsciously, people are learning who you are, because how we do anything is how we do everything. How you show up in media shows how you show up in the rest of your life. And you know how I know that? Because when I started showing up for myself more consistently, it caused me to show up in other areas more consistently. It is all connected. It's why I always have to wake up and go to the gym, even when I don't feel like it, because what's going to happen? I'm not going to feel like showing up on a Zoom one day. I'm not going to feel like recording a podcast one day. I'm not going to feel like going live. And if I allow my feelings to dictate my actions, I am not living to my potential.
Preach, girl.
I got on a little tangent.
No, it's so true. And the validity too, like, and the relevance. Like, if you're not showing up on social media, and I'm not saying that there's not any other way, but this is the world that we live in. And I just was saying to Jen before we came live, like, I don't live on social media like I used to, but you see me in your feed every single day with live, authentic, real, and I'm still connecting and interacting, but at a different pace. But if I meet somebody at a networking event, they scan my card or whatever, and then they go check me out and I've got nothing, they're not going to think I'm the real deal. How is this woman going to help me grow my business when she's got nothing on Instagram? She's got nothing on LinkedIn. She's got nothing here. Like, the validity of it and the relevance to being in today's world is huge.
Exactly. And it's free marketing, right? And yes, does it take time? Of course, absolutely. But sometimes and that's what I want to, like, relieve all of this, like, pressure to be this certain, because some of you are hearing go live, be consistent, make content, and you're like feeling overwhelmed and you're like, oh my gosh, now what happens? Then we get confused, and then confusion doesn't create action, and then we just, like, we spin in our minds, and then no, just take messy action. Like, listen.
Yeah.
You're going to suck when you go live for the first time. Like, it's not going to be good. But the more
And
time,
then you're gonna suck many times after that. You're gonna have like where you just knock it out of the ballpark, and then you're gonna have time. But that's what makes you human, and that's what makes people connect with you. If you were perfect, it would feel like an infomercial.
Exactly.
And honestly, that's where this was born, because you know, this is a hack for me, right? I'm live consistently twice a week, and it's easy. It's just easy to do it this way for me. I'm not suggesting anybody else. And now I have so many clients and friends that are like, they're doing a show now, and I'm like, great, that's exactly right. Do it. Go live and do it in a structured manner if that helps you. Or like Jen, you're literally like in your car and you're just blah 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 blah, and it's awesome. Like, it is so awesome. But that's what works for you, right?
Exactly. Yep. And that's in figuring out like what parts of you, and that's where all these questions. So then the last question, number 9, and I'll kind of wrap up this part of it, is how you overcame to be successful. And I want you to know that every single person who's ever had any success has overcome so many hurdles, whether it is personally, whether it is relationally, whether it is business wise, whether it's, financial wise, like whatever. Write those things out, because there is nothing more that's going to connect you with real people than what it really took you to get where you are right now. And I want somebody else needs to hear this. I almost didn't start my podcast, just a glimpse into my story. I completely burned my life to the ground in March of 2023 and restarted every single area, all the things, right? And so, yes, which is why we connect so deeply. And so when I was burning all of that down, and then it was in the fall that I knew I wanted to start a podcast. But I almost let the voice inside of me say, Jen, you haven't rebuilt your business to the size that you want to build it yet. You need to wait until you can inspire someone to build a business that size. You know what I learned in that moment was that that's not the business that I have. What I've rebuilt is the healing in my life, in my relationships, in my mindset, in my soul. And that's a journey I can take people on as I rebuild my business. So maybe you can't show people how to make multiple 6 figures right now because you're in the journey to build that. But guess what? You can take people through the journey to build that, because guess what? The only way to give up. And I don't know about y'all.
And those clients, those grassroots clients, are going to be your most loyal. They're going to become raving lunatic fans. Like, if you're not doing business with Jen, you're not going to have anywhere near as good of an experience as if you're coaching with somebody else or consulting with somebody else. Like, that's what's going to happen, because they have watched you. And that's where it goes back to that word way shower, right? There's something so powerful in that, allowing people in, let them see the vulnerability, let them see you growing and doing these things. It's super powerful. People want to do business with people that they can relate to, and who can't relate to having to start from scratch, start over, having challenges, hating going to the gym, but showing up anyway, all these things. So good, so good, so good.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what's real. If I come at you and I told you being consistent on social media is so easy, building a business from scratch is so easy, right? I look like the QVC commercial that's like promising the world with a vacuum cleaner, right? And we're like, I don't think that's what it does. And you just like, it feels inauthentic. And if there is anything our culture is craving, is authenticity. And so, yes, will I go on there and I will share, like, if it's a hard day, then I am going to be vulnerable about it's a hard day. But how do I get myself through a hard day? That's what's relatable, right? Like, yes, and to me now, like, I have hard moments, not hard full days, because I know how to feel it, deal with it, and move forward, right? And so teaching people, hey, don't shove your feelings, don't pretend like all is well all the time. Even if you have high energy, you are a real person. And using that, what have you overcome, even if it's a day-to-day basis? What hard thing in your business? Like for me, I jumped into doing these in-person networking meetings last summer. Y'all, talk about fish out of water. I walked in, I'm like, how far in the back can I sit? I am not worthy to be here.
Come on.
Long, like all the things. And I'm like, don't give me the microphone. I'm just going to sit back here and learn. And there was something really, really powerful, and it shifted everything for me. It was like the second time I went to the meeting, somebody came up to me and they're like, "Oh, you look like you're new." And I'm like, Ray doesn't ever look like he's new. Like, what? I'm like, I'm giving off the vibe of like, I don't belong here. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
Heck out. So it was like this personal conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, finish. I'm an interrupter.
No, you're totally good. I am too. So I'm like, go for it.
So I have the opposite experience right now, because my thing always was I needed to be in charge. So there's a networking organization. Great. How can I become president? How can I get on the board? How can I do this? So now I'm taking a different approach, right? So this is what's really important, to acknowledge where you're at and give yourself that respect in the space. But also, are you playing small, right? You caught yourself playing small. So for me, it's the opposite, because I had to be in charge of everything, because I have bad social anxiety. I'm an introvert. So that's how I dealt with it. So now I'm going to an event. My goal, 3 to 5 connections max. I don't need to be the center of attention. I don't need to be the one asking the question, like trying to. So I love it.
So here's something for social media, if you're just starting, or even for this that I learned in the in-person networking, is that it is okay to be a beginner. So my confidence in the next meeting was, I'm brand new to this. I've never, and people connect with that. They have empathy. They're like, oh my gosh, I remember when I first started showing up to these things and, you know, whatever. And so my confidence did not lie in my business strategy per se, but my confidence actually lied in the fact, this is brand new to me. Like, I'm here. I can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to get to know you and learn from you. And listen, even on social media, you may not need to be the most interesting person on social media right now. You may need to be the most interested. So that means you are making sure that you are commenting on people who are engaging with what you're doing. Go to people that you respect and that you want to emulate in a sense, and go and ask them questions, give them feedback in their comment sections, build genuine relationships with people that you may think are so super far away, right? Like, it's so foreign to us that you have to like buy a ticket to an event to actually ever hear a speaker speak. We are so spoiled. Like, I can go hear Jamie Kern Lima or Ed Milet or whoever I want to hear speak every single week on their podcast for free. I can go see what they're doing with their families on their social media feed, right? And so we have access to so many things, but we can't think of people as untouchable. And so be the most interested person, and that starts gaining you confidence, and it connects you with people genuinely, whether it is in person or especially even on social media. And so knowing this, my favorite tagline is, your authenticity is your superpower. So I want you to look into, I want you to go and do an analyzation of your social media and say, what do people know about me from the content that they can see about me? And if it is very one level, if it's very much, they're like, oh yeah, I know that she does this in business, but maybe they don't know anything else about you. Maybe you're not comfortable putting your family on. That's absolutely fine. I don't show my kids a lot, especially on certain platforms. But I do, and I definitely don't use them to like push my business. I don't know. That's just my own mom thing, right? Like, I am a mom, and I want you to see that I'm a mom, and being a mom is a major, huge, most important part of my life. But also, I'm not going to like use that to, to like wheel and deal you and, manipulate you. How do you stay motivated to post on social media without it become overwhelming? This is where, to me, personal development became so key, because every single morning, like my workout and my meditation and my reading and listening to podcasts, that is essentially giving me content for the rest of the day. Then my mind is already in this space of, how can I add value to the people in my life today, and learning from people that I want to learn from. Therefore, it just becomes like an overflow. Like, y'all, yesterday I shared about making a stupid decision dressing for like the cold weather, and it was 92 degrees in Georgia. And I'm like, hey, I could have looked at my weather app and I could have actually known the weather and dressed accordingly. And I connected that to us actually going and researching the people that we want to connect with and knowing about them, and not showing up and not having any information and not, knowing anything about them. And so just connecting life to things that people can connect to. But that may seem overwhelming, but I want you to take these 9 things and I want you to think through, hey, like, you're like, why would anybody care that I want to write a book one day? Why would anybody care that I love to fold a fitted sheet? Why would anybody care that I love to travel on a budget? Why would anybody? And I'm telling you, think about why you know that you love the people that you love, because they've shown you these different parts of their lives, because they've shown you they are a real person. So that's why it's a big deal. One of my favorite stories is I had a stranger from Wyoming. I'm in Atlanta. See my social media. One post that I made reminded that I do 401k rollovers and life insurance and health insurance. He booked a meeting on my calendar, and in an 8-minute Zoom, I was helping him roll over his 401k. Y'all, I have never gone live about rolling over a 401k. And I even said, like,
Yeah.
what? I don't know how we got connected. And he said, I love your content. I feel like I know you. And I don't know what to do with this, but I trust that you know what to do with this. He didn't trust my financial expertise. So if in your mind you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, why would anybody want to buy this product if I don't show them that I'm an expert in this product? No. You want to show people that you are someone they can trust, so that when you sprinkle in there what you do for business, they're like, oh, well, if this kind of person is involved in this, or this kind of person does this, I want to listen in.
There's and I can't think of his name. It's just so bad, but there's this realtor from Rochester, and about 8 years ago, he just started posting the weather in Rochester every single morning. Now, it took a while because that was it. That's all his content was. 2 or 3 years later, #1 in Rochester, killing it, right? Just that was it, because he was, like you said earlier, he was consistent. It was authentic. Like, this actually mattered to him, and people, started chiming in from around the world after a while. So just showing up.
Right. Yep. And something that you're passionate about. I have a real estate friend who's in Texas, and he's starting this whole new content around. He is a runner. Like, he runs. Yeah. It's what he does. And so now he's actually going and doing these videos and becoming the tour guide for different major cities in Texas. But he's going on a run and showing people the best places to run, the best neighborhoods to run in, the best spots. And so he connected who he is, what he loves, with his business. Right. And so it's like, you want to follow along and see, what he's doing. That's the kind of power that you can have in social media. Right. It's not me, but you becoming someone different. It's that what shows you. Maybe you are a super creative mom and you're like Pinterest queen and you have all of the best birthday ideas. Like, it's not bragging to do that. People want to see those. People want to see those ideas. Like, show those things, right? But what sets you apart as a real estate agent? What sets you apart as a business owner? Those are the kind of things that you want to be really, really loud about. I'll give you just a formula. For every 7 posts that you make, now don't get super OCD about it, right? What's every 7 posts that you make, only one of them should be directly selling anything. So that means you got
I heard this. Yeah, I heard this at an event. Instagram is like a cocktail party. Facebook is like a backyard barbecue. So if you walked in and you were like, hey, I signed up all these people to roll over their 401k this week. Yep. Everybody would do what? They would start walking backwards. Exactly. Right? But if you did all the other things that you talked about, that's what's going to attract them to you. And eventually you're going to get to that level of trust and respect, and they're going to find out what you do. Don't make the mistake. You also want to be ready and prepared and be able to beautifully articulate what you do, how you do it, and how it impacts lives. Yeah. But you don't lead with it.
Yeah. And that's what I think. And I love that you just said that, because it's not that you're downplaying what you do. And I'm not saying to overshadow what you do. You just want to remind people you are a multifaceted person. Like, you are a real person. And so someone isn't necessarily going to just connect with me. If all I talked about, and I did this. So last year I became the agent with benefits. Okay. So I still am, but all of my content was agent with benefits. I'm going to help entrepreneurs and business owners with all of their life and health insurance. Like, you don't have a benefits coordinator anymore. There's no HR. I'm your agent with benefits. Okay. All of my content was about that. And at first it was like different. And so it got some viewers. And then guess what? It like, and it wasn't like just a couple and they failed. No, it was like, I am losing all of my people. And I'm like, okay, time out. And I didn't always want to talk about finances, but I had a scarcity mindset in that, oh my goodness, if they don't watch my content tomorrow, and so if I don't post anything about my business today, then maybe they won't know who I am, or maybe they won't really buy from me, or no, I'm going to just post who I am right now and today. And even that, like maybe you go to networking meetings, or maybe you're involved in other things that are coaching wise, right? Post all of that. People need to know that you're investing in yourself, right? Because they want to see, oh, wait, they're in really great circles. They have a really great network around them. That communicates to your business when you're just showing who you are, right? And go ahead.
But plus when you go into these in-person networking events, it's super powerful to post, say something nice about the people that you saw, tag them. Now you're getting exposure to those people who are obviously powerful, beautiful connectors because you were attracted to them at these events, and you get so much leverage out of it.
Be the biggest connector. The more relationships you build, the more people you can elevate, and it just flows over and over and over and over and over again. And you have to trust the process. And but I want you to go through, like, go and look at your social media. And again, you're looking for, what are the messages people are getting from my posts, and look at it like with a magnifying glass. Like, okay, in the last 10 posts, what are the messages from just these 10 posts? Who are they going to think that I am? Right? And write that out. And if you're like, oh, but I'm also all of this, well, that's really good content creation starters right there. Oh, wait, they don't even know that I do this. They don't even know that I'm passionate about this. They don't even know that I'm like so into personal development, or that I'm being coached by Craig Siegel, or I'm in, this group, or again, okay, so if they don't know that, then guess what? That's a perfect place to start. And again, you're going through, how do I know what I respect and love about other people? It's because they've shown me. So what common mistakes should businesses avoid when building their brand online? First of all, doing anything that is not congruent to who you are. First, before you build any brand, I want you to come up with your core values as a person and as a brand. My core values are kindness, excellence, and empathy. So every single piece of content, I want you to know that I am empathizing with where you are, and I'm speaking to you and your needs. I am kindness, and I want to be excellent in what I do. What is that for you? So if you don't know who you are, then no one else is going to know who you are either, right? If you haven't figured out, I don't even know really who I am or what I am, that's where you've got to start first, because then what you're going to do, you're going to confuse people. And so know who you are. Write out the ideas of, here's how I can add value. Here's what this looks like. And even this, there's a mortgage team, right? And you're thinking, okay, they're clearly only going to talk about finance. No, this one of the guys, he's a coach, he's a baseball coach, right? So he talks about like how he's adding value to these kids and what he's teaching them about business and about, leadership and all of this. Guess what, guys? You're going to want to talk to this dude because you're like, he's as genuine as they come, right? And so no, he's not telling you about a mortgage and what the rates are and all of those things. He's connecting to who he is as to his core. So think through, your brand is only as big as the people of your brand. And listen, if you are like, you know what, Jen, I don't even know what kind of value that I can add, then the first thing you may need to go do is go pick up the book Magic of Thinking Big, or Atomic Habits, or something that's going to get you in a different mindset, that's going to shape your mind. And it may start right there, where your mind starts to elevate, and then you get to then add that value to the people around you. Because I genuinely believe that the level of value that you add is going to be the level of the business that you build. And so you've got to figure out what value you add, and that is absolutely what you're going to build your business on. And so the biggest mistakes are, again, inconsistency. Like, don't go all in for 3 days and then just stop. In fact, I would challenge you with this. Do a 30-day live challenge. Y'all, it may be 30 seconds. It may be you going on there, and maybe you're a construction worker, or you're a general contractor, or you're an agent, and you are really excited about showing off this property or this project that you're working on. And you're like, hey, I just want to, I'm crushing my dreams today. I hope you're crushing your dreams today. Boom, it's 30 seconds. And you're like, I didn't die. Right? Build on that. But what then you're going to build is you're going to build your confidence, and you're building your brand, and you're building all of it in the process of you becoming the most genuine version of yourself on social media. And listen, and if you go on your social media and you're like, oh goodness, I can't even watch myself because I cringe. That's where you're going to want to start. What makes you cringe? Okay, well, first of all, high five for showing up and for at least being on there. And then be like, what can I do different? How do I know that? Because if you go back and listen to my first stuff, oh my gosh, it was a total cringe fest. Like total cringe fest. I'm like, Jen, chill the heck out. Like, just be real for a second. Like, you can have high energy and smile and connect versus like yelling and talking at somebody. People, right? So I have to tell myself, I'm like, stop talking at them, talk to people. But again, so that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to be consistent. You're going to have core values, and you're going to be authentic. And if it's anything outside of that, then that's absolutely where you're going to go. Where are the key elements?
I'm just putting this up because you're answering it. And that's why if you have a question up here and it's being answered, that's, why. So go ahead.
Perfect. So here's just a couple of like just quick tips. If you use Instagram, if you guys are Instagram users, I want you to think of that top part of your Instagram is like your money maker, because you don't have to tell people what you do every single time if you've clearly given them access to know everything that you've done. Get them interested enough in you, and then have a link tree where they can go find out all the details. Right? That way you don't have to feel like you've got to give them the 10-step plan of how they can get health insurance quotes. That's in, my own industry. I don't have to tell people that, right? It's go to my link tree, fill out a thing, let's hop on a Zoom, right? And so, but you have all of that in the back end so that your social media is about you as a brand, as a person. And so make sure that your name, and know that like dark bolded part at the top of Instagram, that's actually searchable. So if people are looking for an agent, or they're looking for a life coach, or they're looking for a mentor, or they're looking for a real estate agent, putting that in the bolded part of your top thing is a very, very big deal. So that way people know who you are and what you do. And then think of the things that are below that. We don't have that many characters, but thinking through, let me see exactly. I think I wrote it all down. That you want to make sure that you have, maybe you've achieved something really, really big. Okay, that's where you're going to want to put that. Maybe you've coached 50 six-figure earners and you want to put that in your space. Or maybe you've built a team of, hundreds of people across the US. Or maybe you have a top 5% podcast internationally, or whatever. You can have that in there, but have very understandable descriptions of what you do. And when I learned this, I used to have, I'm your agent with benefits, your innovative solution to insurance. Well, that may sound really cute, but what on earth did it mean? Like, people are like, I don't even know why does insurance even be innovative? Like, I just have to pay for it. Like, what? And I was trying to tell people I got lots of options, but I was saying it in like this like fancy schmancy jargon.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, I am agent with benefits. And what that means is I do life insurance, health insurance, and retirement. It's clear as day. Don't be creative in your explanations. You want to communicate as clearly as possible in that top bio. And even in Facebook, make sure that you have a link tree. Make sure you have some type of website where people can find out more information. So then again, you can keep it super clear and concise. And then also make sure your core values are in that bio. Kindness, empathy, and excellence is on there for me. I want people to know not only what I do, but who I am. So go get clear about that. Just show the world who you are, right? This is what's a big deal to me, right? I'm a mom of 4. That's a big deal to me. So that's going to be on there. So what are the things that are a big deal to you? Make sure that you are on there. How do you face social anxiety through social media? It can be scary to get your voice and face out there. 100%. For me, turning the camera into the eyes of one person that I want to talk to. So every time I go live, I'm thinking of that one person who needs to hear what I'm going to say. And what that does for me, first of all, it gives me how I can talk with somebody and not to them, right? Because I'm envisioning that this camera is another person. And then another thing is it allows me to connect. And then it allows me to get rid of the fear that I don't know who needs this. I'm like, I already know who needs this. That's who I'm talking to right now. And even if only one person listens, perfect, then you're probably the one person that I needed to talk to.
Exactly.
you're losing again, it's back to the scarcity. Then you're like, oh my gosh, only 5 people listen to me. Okay. Only 5 people. That's 5 people who heard what you had to say. That's 5
And
people.
you'd have to pay a lot of money to get those 5 people in any other way. And this is how you attract your tribe, right? Because and it can be, and I've been blessed. The only thing I got not negative, but for a while I was getting some guys calling me Stifler's mom, who I didn't even know what that was, so I had to Google it. And they were writing these things, whatever I did, it was turned it, and then I turned them into people that now engage in a good way because I started responding. But like one of my coaches, John Cheplack, who's like #1 coach in the real estate industry, and now has become a coach of coaches. He's amazing. He has so many haters. You got to see what they write on his stuff. Yet he's netting several $1 million a year without spending a dime. You guys, he nets. I know he netted over 2 million like 3 years ago. So he's got to be at 4 or 5 because he's just grown exponentially. Netted means after expenses. He spends $0 on advertising. It's all through social media. And he has like the most intense hate you can imagine because he's very direct, blunt, whatever. You're not going to get that because you're not John Cheplack and you're not just calling it out and telling people like it is.
But you still get it. I get people toxic. You're just spreading toxic positivity, and I'm like, man, if I could spread something, I would hope it'd be positivity. But the last time, and I like come back at like, hey, I, clearly you need some more positivity in your life, and like the reframe of my own life. You know what? Yeah, when you've been to hell and back, you're really, really grateful for every day you get to live and you get to move forward, and it's not back to somebody else. And so you just like, again, you stay true to who you are. So if there's a hater, I'm not going to stoop to their level and respond like that. Like right. And so it's you being all you. And yes, you're going to show up scared. And one of my favorite things that Jen Gottlieb says is fear is not going away. You're putting fear in the passenger seat. You are taking the steering wheel and you're like, you are sitting right here. I know you're coming with me, but I'm going. And so if you wait to not have fear, you know what will happen? You will never start, because I have fear every single day I show up, every single time. And it never goes away.
This is my beautiful daughter, Julia. So Julia, I'm going to say this to you. Remember when she's 100% Irish and we entered her into the Miss Italian American contest, the most shy, socially anxious. She got up and sang with her grandfather, who's playing the accordion, When the Moon Hits Your... She sang the entire song. She did not win, but she was perfect, beautiful. Everyone loved her. And like, I was so proud of you, Julia, in that moment. So tap into that. Tap right into that, because I know that is one of your best memories in your entire life, because her grandfather is her people. I
love that.
And how did you, like she did it. She did it. So if you have to tap into somebody else's energy, tap into Poppy and think about that memory in that moment, and that it was okay. Like, you went up there and you did it, and it's okay. And not everybody's going to love you. Who cares?
No, it's got to be about the person on the other side of the screen.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. So good.
With you, because then when I get on here, I'm like, you know what? If I don't go live, this person might be stuck in the same mindset that I was stuck in. That's why I say the most powerful person you can speak to is where you were 5 years ago. So even if it's that version of you that you're literally speaking to and saying, you need to be reminded today, like, that you are worthy of chasing your dreams, or that you have, your mindset does not have to be stuck in fear, or, whatever it is, like, or what got you through, right? How did you overcome to be successful? Say, some of you want to throw in the towel because you're having a horrible day, week, month, year. But what I want to remind you is the only way we fail is if we give up, right? And so you may need to speak that life into someone, or then it may be practical, like whatever your business is. Like, hey, you may believe, if you're a real estate agent, you're reminding people, don't be scared of the market, right? Like, there's ways to invest. There's, whatever hope that you want to give somebody. If you're focusing on hope that your story can bring, that's going to give you the why big enough to press that live button. And when
Exactly.
your why is big enough, then you're like, you know what? This isn't about what you think about me. This is about the one person that needs to hear what I have to say, because I know these words change my life. And when you come with that type of strength, then that's all your focus is. Okay, fine. Guess what? You're clearly not the person I'm supposed to talk to today, right? If the people are going to respond like that, but one person is. And
Yes.
the way you find those people is by just showing up and showing people who you are.
Amen. So good. All right. Any closing thoughts? Anything you missed?
No, I think the last thing I would just want to say is every one of us, we prefer certain types of social media, reels, stagnant post, and live video. We all have our own personal preferences. And so I want you to remember that your audience does as well. And so changing up what you do reaches different types of audiences, right? Some people want to see your 6-second reel. Somebody wants to read something, a really good post. And my last tip would be, if you struggle with written content, voice text it. Have an idea and voice text it, and then go back through and do little edits, and it comes across as your voice, even as a text, instead of it just being live. And you may want to start there as you build up the confidence to press that live button to get your words out there in a way that is true to how you would speak. But again, being authentic. Your authenticity is your superpower. Consistency, and just be all you and show up.
I still don't change gonna. I say gonna, okay? I'm from New York City, okay? I say gonna, and it's a word. It should be I think it may be in the dictionary at this point, but I don't correct it. In my blogs, you'll see it. You'll see it because that's who I am. That's who I am. And now, don't get me wrong, I've added in a lot of vocabulary. I've been writing now I wrote for a local newspaper for 10 years. So my voice has changed and is a little more intellectual or whatever, but the core of me is gonna.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, awesome. So, Jen, you are amazing. You are a powerhouse. I also know you run a book club. So, if you're interested in connecting with Jen on any level, here's her contact information. And she will bring you joy and positivity. And no, it is not toxic. It is beautiful. Just a reminder, join the waitlist, Beyond Limits, one program for business growth with Soulful Prosperity. And there's an option for wherever you are at in your business. You can afford to do this, and you're going to see massive traction and massive growth. I am so grateful. I love Fridays, especially when I'm sharing it with beautiful people in the morning. Thank you for everybody that showed up. Also, if you just happened upon this, I want to get you this. There it is. If you just happened upon this on social media, if you go here and register, you're going to get my Soulful Prosperity Kit for free. You're going to get also access to the entire library, everything that came before and all the Empower Hours that come after, meditations, visualizations, all kind of tools to help you stay in the right mindset, conquer the enemy, and slay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Jose, can you take us out?